and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think that was the best one.
All right. I got two more of those.
Thank you.
All right, somebody want to make a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Okay. Review of city commission guidelines. Tim?
Yeah.
You want to go over that?
Yeah, just a little bit. Okay, in August 14th, 23, it's in the minutes here if anyone wants to see it, where we had Adam and Chelsea mainly, and then the HR at that time had worked and put
Can I
together.
stop you real quick?
Yeah,
I misread him when he asked for this, so what I sent you in the agenda, or in the packet, is not what he wanted. That's why we're going off of this, not what I sent you guys. That's my fault.
And
Sorry.
further clarification, this is in there, that is, you just said the whole thing.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
So that's my bad.
Good.
Okay. Okay. But anyway, at that time, we were looking at a way to run our meetings more orderly and more efficiently. So Adam and Chelsea did the lion's share of this work, and then HR at that time, worked on it, and then some of you also had input on it at that time. But it's a guidelines, regarding citizen participation in the meetings of the Washburn. A lot of it's taken after, very similar to what parliamentary procedure would be. But I met with Mark last Wednesday, yeah, last week, and we got together for about an hour and a half, and just kind of went over some ideas as far as, for the train to stay on the tracks during our meetings. And I shared this with him, of what we had done at that time, and we had, I felt anyway, some good success with this type of thing. So, and it's mainly just, I think we were gonna have some there, but we don't, but it's mainly just so, it's just general courtesy toward one another within the crowd. You are recognized before you speak, that type of thing. So, and so anyway, we went over a number of other things, but there doesn't need to be any action on this, just that, it's already in place. We just need to, abide by it. And I think our meetings will be a lot more civil and a lot more productive. And long meetings don't mean they're productive. Many times short meetings are a lot more productive than long meetings. So, but okay, that's all I had on it. Anybody else wants to throw in?
Yeah, we agreed on pretty much everything, and we just said we're gonna tighten things up a little bit and keep control of the meeting, so. If anybody wants, to speak on a topic, please raise your hand. We'll give you the floor and then go from there, so. And then these are available, so.
Right. We should probably have Erica print some and have them for the meetings.
There's actually a stack sitting in there right
Oh,
now.
there is. Oh,
Yeah.
sure, thank you.
If I need to go grab them, I certainly can.
All right, we're gonna move on. Has everyone had a chance to look at the bills?
I'd move we pay the bills.
Second?
Few seconds. Any question? If not,
Yes.
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 and yes. All right,
I read
Approve.
through, I read through the minutes there. I moved to approve the minutes.
okay. Is there a second?
Second?
More discussion, if not?
Yes.
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 Yes. All right, the FCRC waiver of fees?
We need approval of
We-
October
October
financials.
financials.
Oh, I'm
on
sorry.
Number 7.
Skip it. Okay, somebody wanna make a motion to approve the October financials?
Motion to approve the October financials.
Second.
More discussion, if not?
Yes.
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 Yes. And yes, okay. Now we're gonna move on to the waiver of fees. Pull up my- Chelsea, can you go over that until I find my,
McLean Family Resource Center is holding an event in April again. at the hall. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so they're gonna be doing Pasta for a Purpose. It's a free will spaghetti dinner, and there will be some speakers there. It's April 12th. And I'm not sure what. From 5:30 to 8:30.
McLean, okay. I would move to approve waiver of fees for McLean County Resource Center.
Second.
Any more discussion?
Yeah, I just have one question. So-
Sure.
So in that, Chelsea, didn't we change something that we wanted to make sure that if they use the kitchen and stuff, everything is cleaned up, otherwise there'd be a deposit that would be held back, is that right?
Correct. So we get a separate deposit for the hall rental, and we get a separate deposit for the kitchen,
Okay,
because they're two different amounts, so we ask for two separate checks. That way, everything is being taken care of on their
right,
end.
so if they don't do their part on either one of them, we can keep the deposit.
That is correct.
Okay, that's the only question I had then.
Okay, thanks, Tim.
Yep.
All right, vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. Yes. All right, and then the Washburn Lions Club. They're looking for a waiver of fees as well. And Bob, you're
Yes.
representing the Lions
I'm
Club?
representing the Lions, we're requesting for the breakfast and for the carnival. We're having, who else is, doing raffle tickets for them too?
I just have the Lions Carnival.
We have a breakfast on the 9th of February,
And then there's,
and then March 29th is the Lions Carnival.
well, you would have time to do
the Lions.
we don't have the paperwork, but we would have time, we could do this one now, but we would have time in, what month is it, December,
Yep.
and that would be plenty of time, so.
I can talk to Mac about that.
So it would just, for now, it would just be approval of the Lions, cause that's the
Okay.
only paperwork that we have,
Yep.
I mean, for the
Yeah,
carnival, I'm sorry.
Carnival.
Okay.
Yep. So,
Motion to approve.
okay, I'll second that. Any more discussion? Hearing it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. And yes. All right, and then, what about the permit event
That's
for the raffle?
that's the next agenda item.
yeah, these are two separate agenda items, though, right?
Yes, because they both need approval.
Right,
Oh, yeah, the local permit,
so one is just the waiver of fees.
right? Yep,
And this is for,
raffle. Local. Okay, is there anything we need to know about
yeah,
this,
so,
Chelsea?
yeah. So there's no vendors in there making money or anything out of that,
Nope, the Lions Carnival is just strict the Lions Carnival, what
Right.
they've done in the past.
but as far as this.
And the
one,
raffle,
yeah,
this is just the raffle that they're doing for it with their dates that they have listed and the amounts they're giving away. So it's good.
and the raffle is for,
It's a money raffle.
Bingo,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, for nonprofit or, I guess it doesn't make much difference. Okay, I would move to approve the waiver of fees.
I second it.
The raffle.
We did the waiver of fees here first. Right? Oh, I'm sorry.
The
raffle, I'm sorry, you're
Yep.
right, yeah,
Okay.
the raffle.
Yep.
Now I'm behind. Okay,
That's okay. All right, we got a first and a second. And then any more discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
And yes. All right. Now we're gonna, Riverboat Days Committee.
Do you have anything to say?
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Lindsay.
Yep,
The only thing I was wondering if we could request, a waiver for it to be every year going forward, or is that something that can't be done?
I think we'd have to do it on a yearly basis.
Okay, that's fine, I just wanted to bring it up to see if that was something we could do.
Right,
you've been doing a great job
No.
over the last few years.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right,
Because- Commissions change and committees change and circumstances
Yeah.
change, so, yeah.
I'll make a motion to waive the fees.
Second.
Is there any discussion? If not,
Okay, so just a clarification, 11 was waiver of fees, this is actually for a local permit, correct?
Oh, no,
We're
we
working on
haven't.
the, looks like the fees first.
Oh,
Yep.
okay,
Yeah.
fees are first.
Waiver
Alright.
fees, then the local permit.
I'll get
Yep.
on page here sooner or later.
That's
so
okay.
Maybe.
You helped me out a lot, so I understand.
Do you have a
Um,
motion in a second?
Motion in a second. Any more discussion? If not,
Yes.
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 Yes, sorry.
oh, that's okay. Yes. Okay, now we're gonna go to the local permit. Is there anything you wanna discuss?
No, it's the, we're just gonna be doing a raffle like we did this year, I should say, this is for next year. It's just a raffle to raise money for the event.
Good. Good. Sounds good. Somebody wanna make a motion?
Move to approve the permit?
Second it?
Yeah. Any more discussion? If not,
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go to number 13, bleacher proposal at the Memorial Building.
I don't know if you have any more information on this, Mark, or,
No, I don't, actually.
Jacobson had sent it to me. I don't know if this is something that we want to pursue. From my understanding, the Legion had asked him to get a bleacher proposal, so he emailed it to me. I asked if he had any more information on it. He said no, he was just asked to get the permit. I did ask him for clarification to make sure that this would be permanent, and he did say yes. I don't know that having a permanent bleacher over in that area, they're looking at putting it to the side where,
Down from the bathrooms.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm not
and it'd be
sure.
permanent, so it wouldn't be able to be pushed in and pushed out, and the first row would push in and then the two would stay there. So,
I think we'd have to look at our calendar of events and see if that's gonna be an issue to have those bleachers there or not.
Especially because they don't fold.
Right, yeah, they're,
it'd be permanent in 3 rows, 1 row would push in.
yeah,
See, that wouldn't, like, excuse me.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, that would affect your taste of Washburn, those bleachers, if they didn't fold in.
yeah, they're,
And vendor shows and weddings and
yeah.
carnival and stuff.
I heard a little bit about this about a month ago, and this is, when I seen it in the agenda, that's,
So is this something that the Legion was going to fund? 'Cause-
I couldn't even
Well,
tell
I'm just
you.
saying, when Daryl was
Right.
there, he said, whatever you need, let us know, so I didn't know whether
Right.
this was generated from.
I couldn't confirm that or not.
They reached out to Jacobson?
Okay, so they started the conversation.
Yeah.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
Jacobson put it on the agenda?
Yeah, he got the quote and he sent it to me.
Okay.
But I agree that we need,
More discussion?
well, it should be folding ones, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so that they're, you don't lose that space, cause with everything built in there, the space is limited, so.
Well, also with the Memorial Day, that's usually where the band sets
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I think that falls under building and grounds, if you wanna do
Yeah.
the research
Oh.
on it, Mark.
Yeah, I just,
Yep.
this just came up on Friday and with deer hunting and everything.
Okay, no, that's
I
fine.
haven't had a chance to look more into it, but I will.
Okay,
Just a thought too, maybe you could even do like a little committee or something with buildings and grounds, then maybe the school, maybe like representative from Washburn Life and Legion member, and then you guys could all kind of work something out or figure something out. Just a thought, I guess, cause everyone would be kind of connected nicely.
Sure.
But we don't
Well,
have to, but-
as soon as I guess if I get more, then I guess forming committee, it would be a good idea, but until we get more input,
Mhm.
you know, try to have something to where we can either move forward or come up with other options by the next meeting, so. All right, we're gonna move on. Remaining chairs from the memorial building.
All the chairs have been set up that, the Legion bought. We have about 300 that are not good. They moved some of the remaining ones that we had downstairs. They brought some other ones, but there's like 300 of them that are more or less junk.
No,
No,
they're fine.
older,
They're fine.
yeah.
We threw away the ones that were garbage.
Oh, you did throw those ones away?
Yes.
Okay.
There's about 300 or so chairs that we took out. There was no space for them in the Memorial Hall. They're currently sitting in our dump trailer. You know, I don't know what we wanna do with those, if we wanna give them away or sell them, I guess, I don't know. But, I don't think it's wise to keep them in the dump trailer over the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because the Legion did request to save 100 of the best, right?
yeah, we saved a bunch of the really nice ones,
Yeah.
and they're in the back of the current chair room.
About 100, I think.
Yeah, I think it's
Approximately.
two racks, I think is what it ended up being, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any thoughts from the commission on,
Well, I guess you could contact contact the churches in the school,
Mhm.
see whether we could donate them to them, and then if not, put it on the website.
okay,
List them on Bisman or something, or?
Yeah.
Are we selling them or giving them
Right,
away?
that was my next question.
I think if it's local, give them away, and then if not, sell
Like
them.
the churches or the school.
Yeah.
I agree. So, I'll work with Adam on that.
Yeah, I don't know what you're gonna get for old used folding chairs.
No.
I think if somebody comes and gets them, you didn't have to pay them.
Yeah.
But.
I guess we can
you
try
can
to find out what
Yeah.
if there's any value to them and then
Right.
go from there.
Yeah.
Because these are working chairs and they did get rid of the damaged ones.
Right, yep.
All right. So. All right. Garage keepers insurance.
We currently have a garage keepers policy. I believe this was put in place back in the day when things would get stored at our compound, when anything would be towed or anything like that. Nothing is stored at our compound anymore. If the sheriff's department tows a vehicle, they take it either to Garrison. I think typically is where they take it is to Garrison. So currently we have $50,000 for this garage keepers policy. It's about $300 a year that we pay on this. We could keep it with the advisement of increasing the amount, or we could completely get rid of it because we do not store anybody else's property in our compound.
We really don't have room to store anybody else's property,
No.
do we?
And when I did talk to Cody too and asked, I said, would you ever impound something and bring it here? And he said no.
So this just covers something that's not city property that's impounded. What I'm wondering is that if there's property in there that, like say when they're dumping off the metal dumpsters and stuff like that, and I guess that would be their own insurance if they run into something or whatever, so, yeah.
It's basically for storing something.
Okay.
So if we were to store
Right.
your camper down there, it would cover our liability, just,
Sweet.
yeah, you wanna get one?
Yeah. No.
But it's a coverage for us if anything were to happen to somebody else's property while it was sitting down there.
Okay, yeah, that's probably not a necessity.
Are you working with Warren on this one, or is this still under?
Jesse, but yes,
It moved up there, right? Or
it did, yes.
Okay. So did he have input on it, or what their opinion was, or?
He just said that if we're not gonna store anybody else's stuff there, he doesn't think we need it, but if we are gonna keep it, he would advise moving that coverage from 50,000 to 100,000, because you really can't get anything for 50,000 anymore. So he says the coverage is too low, but if we're not storing anything on there, he said he really doesn't see the city needing this policy.
Yeah.
What does this cost? This
It's
particular-
300.
This one, it's roughly $300 a year. But if we're gonna keep it, yeah, at his advisement, he would increase it because 50,000 really doesn't go farther.
And-
I got a question on the dog pound that's down there in our fenced area. Would that fall under?
That's insured separately.
That's insurance.
Yep.
Okay.
But if we would drop this, we would wanna make sure that the office and the personnel knew if somebody asked, no, we're not taking anything in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And just, I guess, yeah, it'd be an easy, just sheriff's department,
Yeah.
hey, you know, like, they have it, but just, you know, that they cannot store anything down there anymore.
What about like a Chris Trusbeck Park down there or something, or like a, does this cover anybody going in there picking up stuff, like excess stuff or whatever? Does this cover any of that? It's just parked there, right? It's
Right.
just,
I
it's
think
not
that would fall
operating.
under his insurance, just like somebody dropping off in the
Yeah.
level.
Mhm.
bucket, so.
So this is only if we, basically-
If you're storing something.
Yeah.
So you can't put your camper in there either.
Well, if we keep the policy, you sure can.
Oh, okay. I guess I would move that we would drop it if it's not needed.
Second.
Any more discussion?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right, library board finance approval.
Candy had called me a couple weeks ago. They are working on their CDs as well. It is stated in their minutes that they have approval for their two people, whoever it is, to sign checks, but they don't have it stated anywhere for somebody to get financials. So she was talking and she had called me to ask if our board and their board would approve it to give permission to the library director and the city auditor, that way in case people change hands, it's just stated in there, to get their financials from the bank if needed, because right now there's nothing stated in their meeting minutes, so it's advised to them to have something stated for them. Right now they have people to sign checks, but not to actually get any financial document from the bank.
Would that include the CDs then, or is that, what document is she kind of looking for?
I think any type of financial document that she can then go and request from True Community.
'Cause the only issue would be their CDs are in our lockbox, so she wouldn't be on our lockbox, so even if she went to go request those, she couldn't. Because you have to be on
Yeah.
our lockbox.
I have to go and take their CDs that are in our lockbox out and give them to her when she has her meeting with Haley on Thursday,
Mm.
so that they have them. And then does the library board have a safety deposit box?
And not that I know of.
Okay, and then if they need to go back in there, so it's fine if they're in there. I just have to go and get them out for her.
Yeah. I was just double checking, because then if they thought they would go get it, they tried to, and yeah.
No, and it's more or less just I think to get any other type of financial documents. She can call over there and request it, or I can as well. And the bank just needs them for their records.
And what kind of motion, I guess, would we need, or like what's?
I guess I would just motion for the library director and the city auditor to be able to request financials from the bank.
And then then they would put that in their.
Yep,
at their next
and then
meeting,
when they
they'll do
meet at the
that,
next
okay.
meeting, they're gonna put it on their agenda as well to
Okay.
have it. Being they kind of do coincide with us, that way she's like, you can get information if you need it, or there's no issue with that. And I think it has to do with their CDs, because they don't have anything stated in their minutes at the bank.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I guess I would move that, we would grant permission to the auditor and the head librarian to access the library, Washburn Public Library's financial documents at True Community Bank.
Second?
Any more discussion? If not,
Yes.
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 and yes. All right. Okay, Western Dakota Energy Association.
Have we belonged this before?
I think way back when,
Okay.
but it's been a few years since we have belonged to it.
Cause the way I got this, they're a lobbying group for cities and, correct?
Yes.
Entities like that.
Yeah, I know we did. I don't think we have the last couple years for sure. I know at one point in time we did. But I think it's not in our new system, so it's been since 2020.
Is it kind of a double up on some of the like other ones that we belong to?
The only one that we have belonged to for the last couple of years is our coal conversion.
Right. Or the one we belong to.
Yep. This is probably more towards the energy side of it,
Yeah.
oil.
Yeah, cause I see they, I mean, they work on a number of different things, including school and per pupil payments and things like that, so they're, I mean, cities is just one thing that they do, but it's pretty cheap lobbying, you know?
Yep.
For a year. That's per year, correct?
Correct, yep, it's
Yeah.
for,
Yeah, I guess going into a legislative session, it doesn't hurt to have somebody down there looking out for your interests, even if it's not specific to us, but to cities in general, so.
And it is somewhat specific to us, just because of all the people that work in those areas in our town, so.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not hired by us as Washburn to lobby for Washburn.
Oh,
is what I
sure.
meant, yeah. I would move that we would approve this and join this group.
Second.
Two.
Any more discussion? No?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right. Well, okay, 18, joint committee, park board, city meeting, Riverside Pathways.
Okay, so we got approval through the board, or the little committee, to get going. They're gonna be presenting it to their board, on Wednesday, and here it is. It's the same as last month when I brought it to you guys, just to kind of show you. So that way you would be ahead of it a little bit, so then if you had any suggestions or questions, we could do that now. I guess now would be the time to maybe like look at specific things. If something doesn't seem right, we can talk about that, or if there's any questions or anything like that. But this way, we'll finally have like things set for what does the city do and what does the park board do in these different areas, like Riverside Park, softball field, dog park, all these different areas, where it'll actually be written and approved by both boards. So hopefully in the future, just save a lot of tail chasing and trying to figure out exactly like, what's this, what's that, and just can keep our good communication with the park board.
I just have a question. On Riverside Park, under park board, it's maintenance of park shelters.
7 o'clock.
So what does that consist of, the maintenance of the park shelters?
So you're
Just,
talking about
just on cleaning, keeping them clean and stuff, or are you actually talking about if the roof gets blown off or gets damaged in some way?
Yeah, I mean, maintenance would be that. It would be basically ownership, as we're kind of talking here, that along with the bathroom as well, that they would be maintaining it, as well as it's underneath their insurance, so that would be covered there.
Just one thought on that, I guess, would the whomever holding the insurance be the person to maintain it, just so there wasn't like a, well, they maintained it and they ran into the ground, and then the insurance is, you know, should, just a thought, should whoever maintains it also be the one who insures it to follow up in case there's any damage to be turned in?
Yeah, that's how it's structured.
I think you guys got a really good start here.
Yeah, I think they're looking at seeing about insurance. But for, like, the city will provide water, correct? Because there's no meter.
Let's see, assisting up there, let's perform. yeah, I guess that would probably be something we'd want to put in there.
And then the electricity, there's electricity down there on the one shelter and the bathroom, so. The city would be responsible for the electric bill since we're paying that now.
I think,
Yeah,
I think there's a meter down there, isn't there?
There's a meter.
Is that on the park board or city?
we're
It's,
currently paying.
it's on the shelter,
But
but
I
I
mean,
think it feeds,
but I mean, is the meter read by Otter Tail and go to the park board for a bill, or does it go to the city for a bill?
the
I mean, I
park
wonder what
board-
it is current.
I believe the park board doesn't pay an electric
Oh,
bill.
okay. I saw a meter there, I was just curious who it
Yeah.
was, who was going to.
And I believe it's an Otter Tail meter, so.
Yeah,
And then the lights down at Riverside Park, I assume the city pays for those lights.
well, streetlights,
Streetlights.
yeah, they'd be owned by Otter Tail, we just
Right,
pay for
and
lights.
that's all on the same system,
Right.
so.
Mhm.
All right, so was Nelson Park brought up at all in your discussion? That's the park across,
No,
I don't think so.
Which one's Nelson Park?
The new park, they call it Nelson Park,
We don't have anything to do with the new park, so.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not in your list.
it wouldn't need to be. So the list is, shared spaces where there's like really conjoining properties or where there might be confusion. And I guess there hasn't been any confusion about that, so it's not brought up. It'd be park board responsibility because it's a park.
Okay, and then what about the fish cleaning station? The park board used to take care of the cleaning of that and the garbage.
I think
a
the
long
city
time.
took that over many years ago and.
Oh, 2 years ago.
How many years ago?
Well, 2019, we took it over.
Okay, so it's been 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, and then again, since we are now taking that over, and it's not exactly a shared responsibility when it need to be laid out in this, so.
Okay. Is that something you wanna? Oh, so according to this, anything above, this is just shared duties, right?
so are you looking for a motion to approve this from our side?
Well, discussion first, cause then
Right.
if there is any changes, we can make changes. and then a
Right, but I
motion
mean,
to
in the
approve.
end, you're looking for a motion that is sanctioned by us before it goes to them.
Yeah, correct, I should have said that right away, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I got one more item, is the volleyball and the basketball area just south of here. I believe the park board has that sprayed. I don't know if you want a weed spray, if you wanna have that
We'll do
included.
weed spraying for them.
No, the park board takes care of the weed spray. But-
That's not a joint property thing there shared, that would be park board property, just
Right.
like the pool and stuff would be.
Yeah, this is just addressing places where there's been confusion in the past, just because
Oh,
of
okay,
places being
Yeah.
close or whatever it may be. Where that's, if they're already doing that and then there's not an issue, it's their property, so they're just taking care of it,
okay,
yeah,
just wanna clarify,
oh, of course.
make sure we cover everything. Alright. I'll make a motion to approve this guideline.
Second?
Okay, sorry, I make a motion to add Mark's suggestion, so this would be an amendment to your motion, if that's okay. To add Mark's suggestion underneath Riverside Park, the city section, that will be providing water and electricity.
Oh.
Yeah.
Perfect,
Just so it gets changed, so that's your motion, I guess.
okay.
Since the bathrooms and stuff are technically in
So
a,
I'm sorry, there's a motion,
Oh,
so sorry, I apologize, yep.
So we're looking for a second for what now?
The amendment to the original motion that will pay for water and electricity.
So I would second that amendment,
Okay.
Sorry, Jamie, go ahead.
and then we still have a motion, correct? And that was seconded too, right?
Will be discussion.
Yep.
now.
Yep.
Yes, they've both been motioned and seconded.
I just wasn't sure whether the first one was seconded.
Discussion, Gene?
we're still on that one where we have to, no,
Nope, no discussion, okay.
I was
Okay.
curious, cause we weren't positive who paid the electricity and up until now?
I believe we do.
I can verify that looking at the list, I'm pretty sure we do though.
We do already, yeah, okay.
Can I go back to discussion? Can I take that
Sure.
back?
We're still in discussion. yeah.
That, bathroom and stuff, is there any way we could just, if the park board's gonna have the park, they have it, I know some of the conflict was that, well, the bathrooms are technically in a road down there, I don't have a map in front of me, but, so it belongs to the city, is there any way that, as long as the park, it can be annulled as a road, or a road getting rid of?
I don't think we, go ahead.
And then we can really cut out some of the, you either have the park or you don't have the park, you know, kind of thing, so there's,
Shelters fall into that as
yeah.
well.
So, if we could talk to Lindell or somebody else from the League of Cities to work on that.
Yeah.
And just kinda either have the park or don't have, you know, one way or
Yeah.
another, so there's.
Yeah. Tim and I discussed this on Wednesday a little bit. We talked about what's the possibilities of vacating that road, but with the utilities and stuff there. And then you gotta, the concerns with the property owners on the other side.
So who owns the fertilizer plant?
Wilton Elevator.
You know, I think that, I think we're making this more complicated than it is. I don't think it'd be wise to vacate that street. I think we're making maybe an issue here that's bigger than it is. We have, you know, the fertilizer plant, which owned by the Wilton Elevator, sits on city property. It was on railroad property, then that railroad property ended up being bought by the city, you know, and it still sits there and they, you know, lease the land. This is, you know, this is public entity to public entity. According to this letter here, since it was put in, the park board has taken care of it. You know, I don't see where it's a big issue, whether it sits on a city right away or it doesn't. The park board can still insure, you know, so I just don't think, for that street to be vacated, I think would be foolish on the city's part. I don't think there'd be anything to be gained there outside of just some paperwork. So, like I said, like with the fertilizer plant there, a simple agreement, it sits on a city easement. The park board's gonna continue to take care of it like they have. I think Tracy said many moons ago is how she, you know, worded it, so I just don't think it's as big an issue as it is, so just my thoughts.
Right, cause the end goal would be just to make sure that it's maintained.
Just say it's
And
maintained, yep.
They're here agreeing to maintain it without any of that, excuse me, it's not approved by their board yet, but by their committee that is put forth in that way. And because of that, I mean, if that's the end goal and we're getting to that end goal, I'm not sure what all the extra steps are for.
Right.
I would need some
Yeah.
help with that, but,
Yeah.
you know.
Because no ownership has really been defined yet, right?
Right, but we don't really have to have ownership to. for
No,
somebody to
I'm just-
insure it, so.
yeah.
As long as they wanna take care of it, I think it's more of a tit for tat thing and just let them take care of it, so, it's my opinion.
All right. So we got a motion on the floor to, do we have to do the amendment first? Or do we do
The amendment first.
Vote on the amendment.
okay. So we have a first and a second for the amendment,
Correct.
correct? All in favor?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And yes. Okay, now on the guidelines itself?
yes.
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 And yes. All right,
I guess just quick note on that, I'll get it sent over to Jack, so we update it for them.
good. Did you wanna go over that letter that we got from, Ms. Jagger?
I guess just, it gave us some really good information, because she was basically in charge of the parks at that time when those bathrooms were put in. And they've taken care of it since the beginning, so, paid for by a grant, kind of unsure of the ownership even then, you know? But, so there was precedent for them taking care of it, but she was very, very nice to send that in and give us some clarity on that, so thank you, Tracy.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna move on to number 19, salt for sand pile.
Oh, sorry. Yep, so I've been working with Jamie on this one, and, so every year, we order approximately, 5 to 7 tons of solar salt, which is this salt that comes in a bag that you use in softeners in your house. It's a very refined, very pure salt because it has to be used in that. So we've been ordering that. It's quite expensive. It ends up, last year we paid about $470 a ton, which is a lot. And we've been talking for years about getting bulk pricing on our salt. And so this year I looked into it. We can get bulk salt straight from a mine, a salt mine, for $120 a ton. The only catch is we have to order a full truck. So the full trucks end up being about 25 to 27 tons, depending on the final weight of the truck. So last year we spent approximately $2,500 on, I think it was 6.5 tons is what it ended up being. To get 25 to 27 tons, you're looking at 30, what was it, Jamie, 32 or something like that?
3240 is what we.
Yeah, about $3,200. You end up with about 3 to 4 times more salt for about $600-700 more. In the past, our sand pile has about 4 to 5% salt. It doesn't really do anything on the roads. It's mostly to keep the sand pile itself from freezing up. And we've seen that it doesn't really even do that anymore because there's just not enough salt in there. So with this, if we go with the bulk salt, our sand pile is going to be about 10% to 15% salt. Hopefully it'll keep the sand pile a little looser in the winter and maybe even do a little more work on the roads. But I'm just we're bringing this to kind of get approval. We don't know if it's over the approval amount we need for the board, but we might as well bring it here to get approval for going with this bulk pricing on our salt for the roads.
You just manually mix it with the loader then?
We manually mix it, yep. So in the past it came in bags. We open the bags, dump them in. This time they'll just back the truck up, dump it on the sand pile, and then we'll mix it ourselves.
Are we gonna have any left over to where you gotta store it?
No, I don't think so. What we were talking about is maybe taking a half a bucket out and storing it inside the compound. Obviously, we had some ice storms last year in the early winter. Obviously we don't put straight salt on the road, we never have. But in those instances, it might be nice to have just some salt to keep people from sliding down the hills.
Concentrate.
Yeah, it doesn't happen that often, but last year it happened like 2 or 3 times, so.
And you talk about waste, to put in perspective, I mean, you're $700-800 for, I mean, you're going from 6 to 7 tons to 25
Yeah.
to 27 tons. So I mean, you throw $800 away, I mean, or, you're not really throwing much away when you look at the volume you're dealing with.
Yep.
So,
And if you're wondering why, it's bulk salt from the mine. It's not pure like a solar salt would be. So it's a lot cheaper. And does that matter on the roads? No, it doesn't matter at all.
So would it last like more than 1 year, or does it not last?
We don't, if we were gonna like store it, we'd have to store it inside the compound because obviously, if we were to like get extra, we can't just keep it outside because it'll,
Right.
dissolve. And we really don't have inside storage for it, so.
But it
we
works
keep it
just as good, but we are getting 5 times more.
Correct, yes, yeah. This seems like a no-brainer to me, honestly, yeah.
We're a very hilly town.
Yes.
I like knowing it can,
Yeah, it
Get up
can be a
hills.
real problem, yeah.
yeah.
Could a person tarp the sand pile after the season to maintain some of the salt?
We've been trying to just get enough for every year,
Right.
and it worked out really well last year. Who knows about this year, but.
yeah, I don't, by the time you go try to buy a tarp and tarp it, I mean, you're not talking,
Yeah,
I'm just wondering.
yeah, you have about a fifth of the sand pile left, so you're trying to save, a
I
couple
guess-
$100 by.
I asked that question too, and then So I mean, I'm not trying to be.
No.
I was going through the same thing about saving it, but I just kinda kept falling back to, you know, how much you're getting and how little the monetary value really
Yeah.
is.
Would you like to make a motion since it's under your?
Yeah, I'd make a motion that we follow through with, changing to that black scrap company to be buying bulk, basically a truckload of 25 to 27 tons of salt for approximately $3,200.
Second.
Okay, any more discussion? If not,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
yes. All right. Tar,
Yeah, another thing that Jamie and I have been working on for TAR for next year, I don't know what was talked about last month, I guess, I wasn't here, but, we've been talking to, Jerry out of Mid-States in, Minnesota, and, they deal in a product that seems very promising. I think I was directed to get some references, and when I called him, he gave me about 22 or 23 references. I only called 3 of them because I wasn't gonna call that many people. But yeah, they really like Jerry and they really like his product, I guess, so.
So,
And Tim, I don't have any solid numbers for you right now. He's gonna give me those numbers later this week, so.
so is this like tar bales that you get a machine for, or is it just regular tar we use in our machine? Or?
Nope, so it would be, they come in, boxes, so they're blocks.
Okay,
They come on pallets.
Okay.
And we'd be renting the machine from him.
oh, okay.
And I believe the machine is approximately $9,000 is what he told me. It might be a little more because, you know, they gotta pay to drive it up here and everything. And then the material itself, he recommended we get half a truckload, which is about $19,000 to $20,000. And depending on how far that goes, that's a lot of material. It is shelf stable and it can stay outside. So if we ended up only using half of that, we could use it the next year if we needed to.
Yeah, we get a tarp for or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, and he said, yeah, as long as it's covered, it can stay anywhere,
Okay,
so.
temperature doesn't bother it?
No,
Okay. So do we need to take action on this relatively soon?
So the only catch right now is that, the company they get their material from is about to start their winter pricing, and it's just a little bit cheaper. And he, like I said, he's gonna give me that number later this week. I talked to Jamie before the meeting. I think we would like to get an approval, not exceeding a certain amount. I think we said 30,000.
Right.
And I'm very confident the number's gonna come in under that, so. That way we can take advantage of that cheaper price. It's not gonna be a lot cheaper, you're gonna save a couple $100, but why not? And then we can get on their calendar for a machine and everything like that,
So the machine and the rental is 9,000?
Yeah,
approximately.
Right, so,
and then you said what, a new one would be 100,000?
The new one would be 100,000 if we really liked it when we were using it and everybody's like, yeah, we need this. As long as we agree, like, to buy a machine, they'll roll in our rental price. While we still have it, they'll roll in that rental price into the purchase of the new one. But he said a lot of people just keep renting them year to year too.
well,
Yeah, oh, and then they said they bring it up here and train us on it too.
Okay.
So yeah.
and then we don't have to worry about, hopefully like we had last year where the tar wouldn't set up and,
Yes.
yeah.
I have a question on that. What, did they give you a time frame on when you can get the machine?
He said most people take it in May,
They have
and
plenty of machines or?
they have a lot of machines. They also have a lot of clients. So, you know, the sooner we get on their calendar, the better. And we rent it for 30 days is what that 9,000 gets us.
Okay,
So,
So if we get fall price or wintertime pricing.
Yep.
We lock that in.
Yep.
And we can speak for that rental
we can.
for April might be a little, because it's wet, it's gotta be dry to put it down.
It has to be, I believe it has to be dry and over 40 degrees, is what he said. But so we're probably looking at late April at the earliest. Minimum temperature 40, no moisture on the ground, yeah.
How many people does it take to run that machine?
Probably 3 to 4.
So we're looking at hiring some extra help.
We'd probably do the same thing we did this year. Yeah, that worked out pretty well. Like, because, you know, not only do you have to put the crack sealer down, but you also have to blow out the cracks ahead of time with the air compressor. And you don't wanna do it too far apart, cause then they just fill back in with their veins or something like that.
So do you have your figures?
Yeah, we had 9,000 for here and we're 19,000, so we were gonna ask for 30,000, not to exceed 30,000 for the rental.
19 is the tar,
19 is the tar, that's a half a truckload.
Okay.
So,
and you don't have any idea how, of course, it all depends on how many cracks are in the street, how many
It
blocks
does,
you
yeah.
can do, yeah.
How much did we tar this last year for square footage?
I don't know on square footage, we put down 800 gallons.
and that's what you had and you ran out then? Or you could've kept going or no?
We could have kept going, but it rained on the last day, so yeah,
So I guess is this a long follow-up with that, is this about where we were at with 800 gallons, or would this be more, considerably more, or? It's hard to tell, cause you have.
it's hard to tell because it comes in a solid, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the first year's gonna be a test.
It's gonna go further than 800 gallons.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
What did last year's cost, or like
I don't know.
a normal year? Like, I just don't have a clue.
So we got our material from the state, and we were using, basically an oil
MC
tar.
3000.
MC3000 is what they call it. It's a product that's going out of favor rapidly. And, you know, when I called around to different places around North Dakota, they're not sure year to year if it's gonna be available the next year, so. Not only that, but also we had a lot of trouble with it.
It's highly
Wouldn't
disapproved
set up.
by a lot of people around town.
So, yeah, I guess the question is, do we wanna experiment with this? Or do we want to keep looking for a different product, or do we wanna, what do you guys think?
You know, what I told Jamie is that I think the only way to know is to try it, really.
Yeah.
Rochelle?
What's the cost difference though? Are we talking like 10,000, 5,000, 3,000, 2,000, a couple hundred, like, you know, what is legitimately the cost difference?
Cost difference between what?
Last
Between
year?
the two products, yeah, last year and this year.
Well, I guess, yeah, I don't know if you know
I
that.
don't know.
So we'd have to look that up, but the one thing is, the stuff about last year is you couldn't store it, right? You
We
don't.
can't store it.
It's a better product. It definitely sounds better, it definitely sounds like, but I'm just like, what's,
Yeah,
alright.
so,
I'm sorry, I mean, I guess I could be wrong, but I remember from our budget, the tarring being pretty high, or like maintenance or whatever it was. Like, I wanna say around 50,000, I don't wanna say for sure, but it was like a big number. It was like, whoa, that's kind of expensive, and did we get what we wanted with that, you know? I don't know if we spent that whole budget or anything like that, but we have to
And that,
double check that.
and that didn't include the extra labor of having to go out and
The state of North
put all
Dakota.
the
I
sand.
don't know.
Scratches
If
and-
that's, did they even send us a bill? I don't even know.
Well, and if it like just didn't work, we obviously have to find something else,
Right.
and then the cost differential I feel better about. If,
Yeah.
Like,
We
It's-
got our material this year actually, from, the state. We pulled in some favors with them and she's looking it up. I don't know if they sent us a bill or not.
They didn't do us any favors, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, there was a lot of headache with it.
Mark,
You
what
know,
is-
one thing, street maintenance is expensive. It's gonna cost money. That's just the way it is.
and it
being a
costs-
former mayor, what do you think of,
I think it'd be worth trying.
try this?
And what Jerry told me is that this MC3000, it's like using old technology. It's like people just cling to it as long as they can. Yeah, it works, but it's also a big headache.
It costs more not to maintain the streets,
Yes.
so.
Yeah, I like the fact that you could either use this all up completely, or then you have a good running basis of what you're gonna get.
Right.
Or, you know, for.
And we have a pretty wide range of time. 30 days is, you know, if it rains for a week, okay, well, that's not a big deal.
Then you hit it hard when it dries.
Exactly.
What is the difference? Like, there's no oil that appears up top, like, what is, like, a texture
So-
difference? It lasts longer 3 years versus the one?
This is rubberized. It has more in common with what we used before, but it's also not cold applied, from what we used in the past. The benefit to it is flexible, and when it gets cold, it doesn't break. And in the spring, it'll move with the road, so it won't immediately separate like,
9,000 for the rental.
like some other products. will.
Is that what we were
So
saying?
then we're saying
It
30
was
days, say.
separating.
And that's
Is
a
that
half
the
a
issue
truckload.
It wasn't
No,
firming
These
up,
are approximate
The issue
prices,
wasn't
so,
setting up
like,
at
this-
all.
You might have to do better than
staying
this.
liquid.
Yep,
So-
and
Would
I
we
think
be
we've
limiting ourselves
got
to
it finally,
30
but we had to apply sand to it 3 different
Would
times.
we stay at 30?
I'm sorry, what's that?
So, I know we did a lot of good patching this fall.
We had a lot, yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't do anything on the other side of 83. But we got some really bad spots.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there's one spot that's been patched, and that seems to be holding up quite well.
The spot on Rough Rider you're talking about probably.
Well, on that intersection of,
Yeah.
is it Dakota and
And Rough Rider, yeah.
Rough Rider?
Yeah, that was patched 3 or 4 years ago.
So Adam, are you confident that we can get, for the half a truckload?
Yeah, half a truckload,
Half a truckload for 30?
9 pallets.
Cause that,
Half a truckload for 19 to 20,000,
plus the. I'm-
plus the rental, which is 9,000.
Yeah, cause I would hate to have a motion for half a truckload and then it's more than 30,000.
No, it won't be.
Okay,
And when I talked to him today, he said, I wanted to give you a high number, it's probably gonna be lower than that, so you're not hit with an unexpectedly higher number when the actual quote comes.
yeah. So I guess in a motion then, you know, I would, to get us off dead center here, I would move that we would approve the purchase of a half a truckload of this product.
Product.
Yeah, including, and the rental,
Mhm.
not to exceed $30,000.
I think that would cover it.
Okay,
Second.
get us off dead center here.
Any more discussion? Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes. All right, do you have anything else, Adam, since
excuse me,
you're here?
Miranda, you seconded that, right?
I seconded
Or Keith seconded, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, B and D request payment.
We have our final B and D request payment that needs approval. Abby had sent me this earlier today. It is for 1,348. We'll just need a motion in a second to sign this, get this submitted to the Bank of North Dakota, and then we are done asking for advances on our loan, and our loan can be finalized.
Okay,
And-
go ahead.
Nope, sorry, that's all I had.
Okay, I would so move.
Second.
Any more discussion? If not,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
and yes. Okay, principal payment, 2022.1 Street Improvement District.
So that leads us into this temporary amortization schedule that I had received from Kylie at the Bank of North Dakota. A new one will be submitted, finalized after we get that requisition payment, but we are looking at having to pay a payment in May for our loan that is not going to be assessed to this year. That total payment will be roughly $96,000 with the principal payment of $78,000 and interest of $17,000. I guess looking for approval on how this commission wants to approve with this payment.
that's what your suggestion is?
Well, we have to pay it,
Right,
yeah, I guess
there's really no options, right?
not unless we wanna capitalize interest on it and see if we can push it off, because then we'll have 2 interest payments in there, and we won't see the income from it, that special, until the following year.
So is that something that could come out of 1 cent, or would it have to come out of general?
It can come out of general,
Okay,
and it would be fine.
well, the sooner you make the payment, the interest you're gonna save, correct? Yeah,
Yep.
so what
And we
you're,
already put it off for 1 year, because it wasn't quite finalized anyway, which was
Right.
fine, but now we have to make this payment next year, so.
so what you're suggesting is to make a payment in May and then make another payment in December? Is that correct?
Yep, it'd be November.
Or
May is the big one, because that includes principal and interest, and then November is just interest.
Okay,
And then one of them's 96,000 about, and the other one's 15,000.
Correct, yep.
I guess to get it going, I would move that we would, make those 2 payments as stated by our auditor.
I'll second that.
Just for clarification, out of the general fund.
Yes.
Any more discussion? No?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes. Alright. A2S update?
We do not have one for this meeting.
okay.
Portfolios. Do you have anything?
You can speak to HR and nothing from the library.
So we got the things handled with the temporary or seasonal help, I guess we're terming that. Still gonna figure out some dates. We're also doing evaluations coming up soon. We got feedback from the managers here, and we'll be filling out the different performance evaluations, then kind of just doing the one-on-ones pretty soon here. So beyond that, that's about all for HR, I believe. And then with the finance stuff that we talked about last meeting, that's all done. So the CDs are signed as we had all that. They're switched over. They're in our safety deposit box. So that's all good to go. And there's an update on that actually. They waived the fee on all of them. So that was very nice of them. And they also held the interest rate because it went pretty far down from 4.4, I guess. So they held it onto it. So thank you, True Community Bank, for that. That was really, really nice of them. So that's about all I have.
Jim?
No, Larry and I and Ann were in Jamestown last week, met again with representatives concerning the water intake. We are gonna get together again with Ann this month, probably more than once, and we'll be coming with hopefully a proposal of an MOC, a memorandum of commitment, in December. So I would be repeating myself, I'll just do it once next month, so.
Okay. Do you know where you're gonna be meeting at?
We don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, so sometimes we go up and we meet with Ann up at their headquarters in Turtle Lake.
oh,
Cause then that way she can stay at work.
oh,
She comes out of Bismarck, drives to Turtle Lake, and we don't wanna make her day longer by having her stop here, so. When she has a day free, we just run up there and meet with her there, just to put the final touches on, cause they're involved in this partnership too. McLean Sheridan,
sure,
that's who Ann works for.
all right,
Okay.
thank you. Jamie?
Yeah, okay, chip seal. Sounds like Adam, you reached out to Eric and about the last 2 projects, didn't get chip sealed. The third one, so back in 14, sounds like that got chip sealed, but then the project in 16 and 23 did not. Looking to get approval to basically get a hold of A2S and start getting research and quotes on that,
Or an estimate.
or an estimate, or start getting estimates on that.
Whatever they call it.
Cost estimate, yeah.
Cost estimate.
Yep.
I would motion to approve.
Second.
For myself, Adam, the guardrail that got taken out
Oh,
of?
We ha-
sorry,
yeah.
so there's motion second for Jamie's.
Right.
stuff.
Oh, you did make a motion?
Discussion on
Yeah,
And second.
for the chip sealing,
Oh, okay.
for the last
For
two
him to
projects.
go talk to A2S. remember?
Oh,
'Cause
sure.
it's
Okay.
Expensive. But,
No,
um,
thank you.
discussion, I guess.
discussion. No? Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
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 And yes.
Yes, okay. Sorry about that. I thought it was just discussion, but I caught on. Okay,
Guardrail back on roads, or you had that question?
yeah. The one that got taken out on
Mhm.
Fifth and 12th or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, is it still sitting there for insurance reasons or?
I just wanted to make sure that they were done with it for both insurance and
Police report.
law enforcement reasons before
Yep.
we moved it.
I received the call for service, I think the next day, and then I just received the accident report last week. I talked to our insurance guy today, and he said to submit it to their insurance, and then either the adjuster will come out and look at it, or ask us what our approximate determination to replace it would be. So
So we should leave it for now, is what you're saying.
yes,
Okay. Yeah.
until they say if they're if they're gonna have an appraiser come out and look at it or not. So
Okay.
that's where we're at with that.
Okay.
Did you read on Jamie?
Oh, yeah,
No, I was
sorry.
just asking him, cause he was
Oh,
asking about that
oh,
guardrail.
okay.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
I'm done with mine.
Were you done with yours?
Yeah.
I didn't, so. All right, I need to get with the Legion, talk about the painting on the walls on that, south end. Haven't had a chance to do that, and I'll talk to them about the bleacher. And I'll visit with some of the other organizations that use the building and go from there and come back and see if we need to form a committee to come to a conclusion, so besides that, that's pretty much all I have.
And just a side note on your grounds,
Yeah.
just after one of the Lions breakfasts, we had a hard time getting those, things lighted, so
Wet.
I did talk to Adam and I talked to Terry.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they did approve up to 10,000 to make those electronic
Igniters.
igniters, so it's better for lighting.
Thanks
so-
for bringing that up. Yep.
So, just,
Yeah, so they had trouble lighting the stove, so, yeah,
yeah, just
Pilot lights.
more informational than
yeah,
anything.
yeah, the Legion's gonna take care of that. Thank you. All right, Chelsea, do you have a report?
Just a reminder that all campers, boats, vehicles that aren't being moved, everything needs to be moved off the street. We don't have snow as of yet, but per ordinance, they have to come off by the 15th, and we're probably biding our time until we get snow. We are closed Thanksgiving and the Friday after, just to make that known. I think that's all I had this time. Oh, I did talk to our auditors 2 weeks ago. They were finishing up, they were in the review process. So I should hear back from them anytime soon. I thought it'd be done by now, but they had to put ours on hold again for another something. So that's in the review process, and hopefully we have that report by next meeting for the end of the year. So to go do it all over again.
Okay. Oh, just, the fish cleaning station has been taken out of service. And then the boat docks will come out probably here pretty soon as the weather turns a little cold, so. That's all I have. Adam, do you have anything to add?
Other than the report you should have from me, you know, obviously you saw the patching that happened a couple weeks ago. You probably see a couple of manholes and gate valves that have been cut around here, today. We are lowering those so they don't get hit by the blade. That should, I think that's happening on Thursday, so it should be done then. But if there's any other questions about what was in there.
Okay. Is that it? Is that it, Chelsea?
I think so.
Okay. Next meeting is December 9th, 2024. Meeting is adjourned.
That was nice. Good work, boys.